Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Bhaktivinoda
Jai Shri Krishna
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva.
Hare Good to see everybody.
Hare Gulukan Bhagwan ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Good to hear you, Shiva.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Small aside, 9 o'clock tonight will be the 21st hour of the 21st day of the 21st week of the 21st year of the 21st century.
Wow. A lottery ticket with 21 in it.
Technically, it is 22nd year.
Yeah. No, actually, it starts on the first, on 1. Anyway, we let's not quibble about it. It sounds good. All 21s. Thank you for that bit of trivia, Bill. That will think of that at 9 o'clock. Okay.
Welcome. Yeah. Okay, we get started.
Uh,
20th probably.
Number 20.
Yava prithviyoridamannanantahi vyaptam tvakekena disachyaksha sarvaha Istevakshadrupam rupamugram tavedam
Ajit,
Okritam pravyatitam
kholo door. Ajit, Mokra.
Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed.
Okay. Dvav apritivyo, place the space between heaven and earth, and loka trayam, the 3 worlds, are significant words in this verse because it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of the Lord, but others in other planetary systems also saw it also. Arjuna's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw that universal form on the battlefield. We can do another verse or 2 and then come back and discuss a few things.
Okay. Amihi tvam surya sangha vishanti kechviditaha prajwalayo grinanti swastitya yuktva maharishi siddha sangha swastuvanti tvam stuti bhiha pushpakala bhiha. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings, crying all peace, are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns.
You want to read it? You were drawing?
Purport. The demigods in all the planetary systems feared the terrific manifestation of the universal form and its glaring effulgence, and so prayed for protection.
Okay. Do one more, and then we can stop for a moment.
Yeah. Rudraditya vasuvoyecha sadhya Visvesha Vishnu Marutakshoksham Paksham Gandharvyaksha Surasi Shadda Shanga Vikshante Tvam Vishmita Chaksheva Sarve. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishwadevas, the two Asvis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder.
So anybody have any thoughts or comments on these first three verses? They, in a way, work together.
Prabhuji, I actually had a question.
Yes.
So in this specific translation where we are kind of calling out the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, and the Vishwadevas, I'm just curious if these are like different forms of like living beings, and these are like titles giving to those different forms of living beings, or in a higher planetary system?
Well, that's a good question, because these are different groups of devas, of demigods. Of course, we have the Gandharvas are like the heavenly singers, and you know the Christians would call them like angels. The forefathers of the Pitris and the Asvinis, Ashvins are the Asvini Kumaras. They're the medical demigods. The Maruts control wind. And the Yakshas are a whole class of beings. They're kind of like mystic, powerful beings. Actually, the god Kuvera is a Yaksha. Then we have the Adityas, which are related to the sun god. And of course, the Sadhyas would refer to perfected beings. And so the interesting thing is there that what you're bringing up here is we're talking about a universe which looks a lot different than the cold, hard, physical planets and stars and galaxies and the gases and black holes and the kind of empty world of the modern vision of the universe. This universe is full of stuff and people and gods and energies that are conscious. It's really, it is not some sort of empty, light years between dead rocks floating around, giant thermonuclear furnaces that have no consciousness. It's really quite interesting when we think of it that way. And if we relate it back to the verse number 20, where we're talking about Dvav Apritivyo and Lokatrayam, it is talking about heaven and earth and the three worlds. So we understand that sometimes the universe is just divided into three worlds. That is the upper, the middle, and the lower planetary systems. We have the upper planetary systems, which are crowned by Brahmaloka, and then there's other very high level planets, and the demigods are living in these realms. And then the middle planetary systems, of course, are the place where the human beings are. And then there's hell. I mean, the lower planetary systems with Patalaloka and places like that. The important part of being brought up here is that Arjuna could see all that in one place, and it was not an illusion. He really saw this, and those who were qualified could also see it. He had divine vision. So if that might be a little help. And any other questions or comments?
One small one. Well, this is kind of picky. The last in verse 21, the last word pushkalabiha. Other people translate that as either being complete or abundant. They don't translate it as Vedic hymns. The stutabiha would be the hymns. So well, I'm not really sure what Prabhupada is doing there.
Well, I'm not sure either. I'm sure, though, that Prabhupada will be tying this to previous acharyas in our line.
Okay.
And you said that other translators use what word?
The last word in in verse 21,
Yeah.
including Tripurari is one of the people.
Okay, what was it translated?
So anyway,
What was it translated by others?
One says is complete, and the other one translates it as abundant.
Well, Prabhupada is saying this, that in the Vedic hymns, they're complete, and they deal with giving us true abundance, because only by following the strictures of the Veda can we live a successful life in this world. Otherwise, we can't be happy. So, Prabhupada, very many times we have to understand that, I'm getting an echo here, but Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas, they actually make whatever I call or translations that have commentary embedded into them. And they intentionally embed the translation with the tattva or the siddhanta that is being transmitted by the previous acharya. And so therefore, oftentimes it's given intentionally by Prabhupada. And he's not the only one who does that. Others do it too.
Actually, you see, this is about 20 years ago. I looked up every word in the Gita in this Monier Williams. So that's why I'm
Yeah, I have a comment. I have a comment over there. When the word pushkalabhiha is coming, before this the word is stuti bhi. So stuti bhi is for prayers, right? You are doing the stuti, you are doing prayers. So when you are doing the prayers, you are using the Vedic hymns. So you are doing the prayers using the Vedic hymns, and you are already referring to Lord Shri Krishna as Tvam. So Tvam is Lord Shri Krishna already referred to, and Stuti Bhi are the prayers, Pushkalabhi using the Vedic hymns. So that is why I think Vedic hymns seems to be more logical.
The Monier Williams. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Vedic hymns.
The thing is, Bill, what we're trying to with the minds of our acharyas, and with all due respects to Monier Williams, and I know he's very scholarly. There are Sanskrit is a language that lends itself to a lot of different ways of being read. Words have so many meanings. So what we need to do is, and Prabhupada has done, is he's trying to convey a certain narrative to deliver us the understanding of our relationship with Krishna in bhakti. So that's why I think what we're trying to do now is get the idea that these hymns, and I don't deny that probably there's a place for this other understanding, but I think, and I am not a scholar, so I haven't gone back to see how we came up with particular understanding. And I'm guessing that someone, Dave Prasan or Krishna, a previous has spoken this.
I think you are breaking up, Prabhuji, or you just I'm not hearing. Yeah.
Well, I'm getting an echo from my here.
Oh, you're getting echo? Okay,
yeah.
That's me.
So maybe I'm getting a big echo, but maybe that's better. It's better now?
Yes.
Okay. So we can move on to some more verses.
Yeah. I was just saying, Prabhuji, I don't know if you heard me. I was saying like the logical conclusion is Vedic hymns, because It says Tvam Stuti Bhi Pushpkala Bhi. Like you are doing the Stuti of Lord Sri Krishna using Vedic hymns.
Yeah, I think that's logical. It gives you the context we have.
Yeah.
So 24.
Yeah. Are you still hearing echo?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Yes. Okay. We'll move on to 23.
Haribo.
Haribo. Chinu, do you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sure. Rupa Mahatte Bahu Vaktra Netram Mahabaho Bahu Bahuru Padam Bahudaram Damshatra Karalam Drishtva Loka Prayatitas Tathaham. Almighty Arm One, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. Hare Krishna.
Haribo, Chinu. Haribo, Matthew. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Continue. Rudrani wants to sing the verse, so she's going to sing.
24. Nabas Prisham Gittam Anekavarnam Yatananam Vishalanitram Jisvahitam Pravyahitam Atma Dritim Na Vindami Shamam Cha Vishnu. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors, touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind.
I think we should note it very important that this is not material fear. This is a bhuta. This is a wonder. And because Arjuna is experiencing the emotion of just being blown away by this display, but he's not fearful in the sense of like a person who's afraid of the, some material dangerous thing. But this is a rasa. This is a taste that one has in relationship with Krishna. We can do the next verse.
Shriti, read.
Sure, Prabhuji. Damishtra karalani chate mukhani drishtave eva kalanala sanibhani dishona jane nalabhecha sarma prasida devesha jagannivasa. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, I am bewildered.
Anybody want to say anything? We can, but we can go on to the next. Okay, this next one's a double verse.
Madhava Prabhu.
Madhava. Haribo.
Need to unmute Prabhu.
Oh, sorry. Amicha Tvam Dhritarashtrasya Putra Sarve Sahai Vavi Nipal Sanghai Vishnu Drona Suta Putra Sthaso Sahasmi Diyarep Yodha Mukhyai Vaktrana Ite Tvarmana Vishanti Drashta Karalani Bhayakani Bhayanikani Kechidvagna Dasayantaresu Sandrisyante Chuditai Rat Mangai. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers who are rushing into your fearful mouth, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. In a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. Now Arjuna sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra and their soldiers and Arjuna's own soldiers are all being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled in Kurukshetra, Arjuna will emerge victorious. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Krishna, not only will the great not only will Krishna, the great warriors of the other party like Bhishma be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjun's side also.
Actually, it's so also Karna, not Krishna.
Karna, yeah, Karna.
Karna is going to be smashed. Krishna will be doing the smashing.
So also Karna, yeah.
So
yeah.
These verses in a way foreshadow a verse that we'll be coming to soon. We may get to it this evening, where Krishna states his purpose to be. What is the purpose? When Arjuna says, "Why you? What is your purpose?" And Krishna will say that this is what's going to happen. Everybody's going to be killed. Everybody is indicated here is not all the soldiers are on both sides are doomed. Now, a couple of things though. Who's speaking this? The Gita is being spoken to Dhritarashtra by Sanjaya. And so Sanjaya is now basically telling Dhritarashtra, and he has been telling him before this too, but this is really telling him the game is over. Everybody's going to be killed, and even Bhishma and Drona and Karna, they're all being smashed. Everybody is finished. And over and over again, we have these very graphic pictures of people being smashed between teeth, like ground up. It's very, very graphic and visceral. And everything's just being destroyed by Krishna's time factor. Any other questions or comments or thoughts about the verses here? They're very descriptive. This is not in a sense, a philosophical discussion here. This is like, this is show and tell, where Krishna is basically just really being very graphically clear what is going to happen.
When Hare Krishna Prabhuji, when I read these verses and when I was thinking about it, I was just thinking that it just proves that Krishna is just proving in his universal form that everybody's destiny is already decided, and he's just showing Arjun that these people are already destined to be destroyed, and
that's the unvarnished truth, is that unless one's on a spiritual platform, if one's basing their pleasures and happiness and their goals on things of this world, this is the end right here. I mean, this is it. It doesn't really end any differently. Maybe it doesn't look so dramatic as this, but it's all the same over and over. Life is
And don't forget to floss.
Yes, we won't forget the floss.
And Prabhuji, one more thing, which is very evident here, that even if you are very literate, educated, pious, but still, like, when I think about Bhishma and Karna, I mean, they were very well-versed, well-educated, everything, very, very people of very high level of consciousness, but still, they chose to be on the wrong side, despite knowing the truth.
They
I just wonder,
became
like,
influenced by Duryodhana because he was giving them sustenance and maintaining them, and they were taking their meals with him, and they became influenced by his very bad consciousness.
Yeah.
Bad association.
I have a question, Prabhuji, again. But those soldiers who were on the side of Pandavas, they were on the right side.
Yes.
So why they have to be killed?
Well, everyone was destined to die here, except for the Pandavas and a select few people. And this again brings us to the whole subject of death not being the end, because it is just the end of a body, and everyone who's dying on this battlefield is dying in the presence of Krishna. Therefore, no one has an inauspicious end here. Everyone is getting some benefit. Some are going back to Godhead, some are getting impersonal liberation, some are getting elevated to the heavenly planets. I mean, everybody is benefiting because Krishna is benedicting everyone in this battle because he's there. And if you're leaving your body in the presence of Krishna, there can be no bad result.
I also kind of feel like what we're seeing here is sort of the way that these are just kind of seeing the machinery by which bodies get immolated, get destroyed metaphysically. And then he's basically seeing that aspect it's very much for him because, as humans, we can't picture that. It's too abstract for us. So like being able to actually understand that and see that is terrifying.
Yes, this is a very graphic description of what is actually happening gradually, drip by drip, every day in life. People are dying, people are being born, life is going on, and this is a big graphic explosion, explosive, in your face. You cannot ignore this.
I've heard commentaries about how the situation before the war, the world had been overridden by the corrupt caste of Kshatriyas, and actually one commentator said the object of the impending great war is to rid the world of the dead weight of the human weed.
Well, we would say that actually Krishna has if we really look at the whole Mahabharata and the whole story, this is really a story of the world being populated by the elements of good and evil, and they're all playing out right here. And by the fact is that Yudhisthira as the rightful heir to the throne of the emperor, to be emperor of Bharat, of the whole world, essentially, as we see it. That's the victory of good over evil, and it is clearing out all these demoniac or asuric, asuric elements, Duryodhana and his whole crew. So that's a fact. This is a purification of the planet at one time. So we can go on. Anybody else want to chime in? These are all really great comments. This is an interesting section here. 28.
Deva, you want to read?
I can read.
Yeah, please.
Yatha nadinam bahavo bhuvegha samudram eva bhimukha dravanti tatha tavami naralok vira visanti vaktrani abhivijvalanti. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouth.
29.
The next bit, Prabhuji.
Next one.
Deval, पढ़ना था आपको? You are on mute.
I can try.
Yeah, try.
Deva.
Yatha
Pradiptam
jwalan patanga vishanti nashaya samudra vegaha tathaiva nashaya vinashanti loka stavapi vaktrani samudra vega. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in blazing fire.
So we have all these very graphic rivers into the sea, the moths throwing themselves into the fire. We continue.
You're not getting echo anymore, right, Prabhuji? You're not getting echo, yeah?
So it's good now. Am I? You can hear me too, right?
Yes, yeah. Shiva?
Yes, Prabhuji. Can you please? Yes. Leli hase grasmana samanta lalokan samagran vadenar jwalabdi tejo bhirapur jagat samagram bhastvograha pratipanti Vishnu. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible, scorching rays.
Yeah, can you turn on? And notice here that he's addressing Krishna as Vishnu here, because this is definitely a Vishnu display. I mean, Krishna is dancing with the gopis and playing with his friends, and in other pastimes he has these very human-like, loving exchanges. And this is quite a display of raw power, and that's definitely the power of Vishnu. I think we should try to read the next two verses, because this will bring everything to a close of this section. Here's Arjuna's question.
Akhyahi me ko bhavan urgo rupo namostute devavara prasida vijanantum ichhami bhavantam adhyam nahi prajanami tava pravrittim. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is.
Now Krishna makes it very clear what his mission is. And this is also, I've said it before a zillion times, when the first atomic bomb was exploded, these were the first words uttered after the explosion. So, pretty significant.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kalo Asmi Lokashaya प्रवद्धो लोका समानि समाहतु मिह प्रवत्त तृतीयेऽपि त्वां च नम भविष्यन्ति सर्वे एव स्थिता प्रत्यनीकेषु योधा. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Time, I am the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain."
Bill Prabhu, do you want to read it, please? Bill, no?
Bill?
Okay.
Maybe you got unmute. Bill? There?
There we go. Although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore, he asked further about the actual mission of this devastating force. It is written in the Vedas that the Supreme Truth destroys everything, even the Brahmanas. As stated in the Katha Upanishad, Nasya Brahma cha kshatriyam cha ube bhavata odanaha mrityur yasyo pachitam ka itai veda yatra saha. Eventually, all the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured like a meal by the Supreme.
There you go, Bill.
Me too.
This form of the Supreme Lord is the all-devouring giant, and here Krishna presents himself in that form of all-devouring time. Except for a few Pandavas, everyone who was present on that battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjun was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight. Then there would be no frustration.
Chino?
In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that was his plan. If Arjun stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. Hare Krishna.
In other places, Krishna talks about being time, and time destroys everything. And we can understand that we have a choice as human beings to confront or to interact with God or the Supreme in different ways. Some people will just interact with him as kala, time, and at the end of life, they will see that form of God in the form of destruction. How much nicer it is to take up Krishna consciousness and transcend time by coming into relationship with Krishna. So this is very, very powerful and a real lesson. Any other thoughts or questions?
Yeah, a good friend of mine was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. And just a week or two ago, the doctors told him he had 1.5 years to live. And he's late 60s, I guess. And he has no interest in spiritual things. So anything transcendental, anything about God, nothing. And so I'm kind of in tricky ground. I mean, how to be a very helpful person without being pushy or preachy or, putting my trip onto his head. And yet, it's something that I think, a lot of us face as devotees dealing with a secular world.
So let's stop and think this. Let's think of a way the Chinese, what are some ways we could help a person who doesn't show interest in spiritual life when they are confronting with death? What are some practical things that Bill, you can do, or any of us could do in this situation with someone like this?
At least in the medical school, they kind of taught us a way to talk with patients about sort of difficult topics. And kind of the general approach is to start with sort of kind of understanding where they're at, what they understand, what they already have planned and what they don't have planned. So I think like I would start with kind of just really trying to understand where they're coming from and what their perspectives are, with like a lot of open-ended questions like, how are you feeling about all this? Do you have any idea what will happen afterwards? Things that are kind of pushing towards that direction in a way that's inviting them to put their thoughts on the table and not passing their own thoughts.
Maybe offer them some Krishna prasadam.
Yes, we'll give them some prasadam. There you are, Shiva. That's one everybody eats. So we give them prasadam. That's one thing. And people like to listen to music. So have some kirtan. And if they're a Christian, maybe they can listen to some Christian music, or they can listen to something that has some spiritual connection. But the best thing to do, Bill, if you can, is to get them to chant God's name in any way you can, even if it's only to say, oh, I don't even believe in chanting Hare Krishna. With my father, one time I was trying to get him to chant, and he said, well, you'll never get me to chant Hare Krishna. But he just did when he said that. So, so that's what we have to do. Somehow get them to come in contact with something that has to do with the Supreme Lord. Prasadam, the holy name, a kirtan, books with beautiful illustrations, something that will help them. So I think we're up to.
Yeah, one suggestion, Prabhu, maybe, I don't know if there's some interest, a group of devotees can go and just do some meditation, like chanting, just for peace of mind.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Then they can just hear some kirtan, live kirtan by the devotees to help out, just so that half an hour, just peace of mind or something. And then that may interest.
Yes. Very, very nice point. Any other contributions or questions? Thanks for the this week.
Yeah, Prabhuji, next Friday is a long weekend.
Yes.
So how do you want to do?
You want to take the week off, or you want to do during the day? Well, we can just. What are you inclined to do? Are you going out?
Yeah, like if most people are here, we can still keep this on.
Well, I will be here.
Okay. Maybe I'll post it on the group. Probably.
Yeah. In years ago, we've had the Sadhu Sangha retreat coming weekend.
Yes. That would have been nice.
Someday.
Yep.
So we'll play Kirtan, Prabhuji?
Kirtan sounds.
And so we'll play Kirtan for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
That's a nice video.
Yeah.
You know, I find one curious picture there. There's all these pictures of Vrindavan, and then there's this picture of Alaska. You know, that place where there's, I don't know what it's interesting. But it was a really nice kirtan, and maybe you could share that link with.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually 20 minutes. I'll share the link.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you for every information.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
If all possible.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hari cake, hari cake, hari party cake.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah. See you next Friday.
See you next.